What's up, agents? It's Chase and J Miles, and this is a must-watch video if you're in the market for a brokerage. I'm going to break down some things that you've probably not heard before that'll help you make your decision on choosing a real estate brokerage to join. So that's what this video is about. Stay tuned. Alright, so before I get into it, my podcast is live. It's live on all the podcast places. Look it up. It's called the Power Unit Success Cast. It's really good. We're getting it revved up. I've had some speakers on there, and I've had some really cool agents from across the country on there sharing some things. So definitely check that out. Subscribe to it. It will be just as beneficial as these YouTube videos. Now, a quick disclaimer about choosing a brokerage. I can't tell you the exact brokerage to go to. I can maybe try to influence you to a certain brokerage, but ultimately that's going to be a decision that you're going to have to make. And something to note is you're not tied down. So unless you're signing a contract where you can't go anywhere, which I think is illegal in most places, you can always leave if it's not the right brokerage for you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you all the things that you need to evaluate when you're choosing a real estate brokerage to join. So based off of these things, you should be able to come up with one or two that rank high on the top of your list to go and interview at, and you can choose one of those brokerages. The first thing that you need to decide is what type of real estate you want to sell, whether that's residential, commercial, or leasing. So common residential real estate companies are gonna be like Keller Williams, EXP, Coldwell Banker, Century 21, Compass, those guys. Those are kind of the big players in residential real estate. If you want to sell commercial, you want to consider a company like JLL or CBRE. Those are some big commercial brokerages. Or if you want to do leases, maybe join an apartment leasing company or a company that just does leasing. I know I just named some of the big ones, and that brings me to the next thing you need to look out for is how big do you want your brokerage to be. So there's kind of 4 different areas of size. We have our international brokerages. Those are the brokerages that are all across the world. In most countries that you go to, that brokerage is going to be there. Then there are our national brokerages that are just here in the United States. Then we have regional. So a regional brokerage may be somewhere where it's just in Texas or just in coastal states or just in the north. Those are regional brokerages. And then there are your local brokerages that may just be in and around your city that people outside of your city or town may have never heard of. So when we're talking about size, whether it's international or local, they're gonna be 2 different sizes when we evaluate the real estate stamp that they have here in the world. Just because it's a local brokerage does not mean it's not a good brokerage. It just means they're not international. So don't shy away from a brokerage just because you think that they're not big. If they're big in your city, it may be someplace that you want to consider. Another thing with size is the actual size of the office that you're going to be working in. Is it a big office with 300, 400 agents, or is it along the smaller side where it may just be 30, 40 agents, or maybe even in the middle, 100, 150? Think about that. Think about how you want to interact with your people, or if you don't want to interact with people at all, then you may be wanting to go the cloud brokerage route. So I've said there are 3 types of brokerages that you want to evaluate. There's going to be your cloud brokerage, and that's going to be a brokerage like EXP where everything happens in the cloud. It's on the computer. You interact with people, but it's virtually. Then there are going to be your traditional brokerages, the ones with the brick and mortar offices that you walk into every day, and you may or may not see people, but they're there. They have signs in front of their building. You can easily spot the traditional brokerages. And then there's the flat fee brokerages that may not have that brick and mortar. They may have like an office suite in a building. You may not hear about them too much, but they offer you a high split. So speaking about splits, What kind of split do you feel like you need? I know as agents are moving around, and especially if you're a newer agent, you think that you want to go for the place that's going to offer you the highest split. Don't fall for that, because high split is not always a good thing. You can be missing out on a lot of stuff because they're just giving you all the money. They're just charging you a low percentage to do transactions with them. You may even just pay like a flat fee, $200, $300, and get 100% commission, but you're gonna miss out on a lot of other things. So think about that. Think about what's important to you when it comes to the money. Another thing that you want to consider is if you want to do a certain type of real estate that not everybody does. So that can be luxury, that can be farm and ranch, that can be condos and apartments. Again, that can be leasing. If you know coming into the business, or you know you're at a point in your career where you want to specialize in a certain type of real estate, if there are firms in your town that only do that, or 90% of their business is that, I would recommend starting out with them. I would recommend moving your license or beginning your career at one of those firms, because you're gonna be immersed in that atmosphere. Now, at the end of the day, most clients are gonna work with the agents who they know, who they like, who they trust, who they have a good bond with, but there are a lot of people out there that when they're looking to buy a farm and ranch property, they're going to go for a farm and ranch brokerage. Or if they're looking to purchase or sell a luxury property, they're probably going to call the firm in this town that's most known for selling luxury. So take that into consideration. And then the last thing is, you want to think about what your 2 to 3 most important factors are with your brokerage, okay? And these are going to be personal to you. So those factors could be, do I need a high split? Or do I want a place with other income opportunities like profit sharing, revenue sharing, stocks, healthcare, things like that? Do I need those added bonuses? Am I concerned with whether they have a big name or not? Do I want people to easily recognize the name, or am I going to be extremely good in my abilities that the name won't even matter? Also, the reputation. You know, what is this brokerage known for? Is there drama surrounding them? Do people like the people who work there? Are they always in the tabloids? Like, what's the actual reputation? Think about the things that are most important to you. Taking all of those factors and putting them into one, you should be able to narrow down the brokerage that you want to go to. Hope this helps. Thank you for watching.